Hello and welcome to Unscripted, the Field of 68's Michigan State basketball podcast. I'm your host, Greg Waddell, with my co-host, Carter Elliott. We are presented by BetRivers. The Michigan State season has come to an end after a close loss to Duke. Carter, it's good to see that you're still breathing today. You were down pretty bad yesterday. How did a night's sleep affect your processing of this loss, my friend?
All losses are tough. I've never, ever been one for the moral victory, the pat on the back, the participation trophy, anything like that. But just to sum it up, I wasn't angry necessarily. Like, I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad the way we played. I wasn't mad the way we lost. I wasn't mad. I was just sad. I was just straight up sad because, you know, my team basically got outplayed, and that happens in the game of basketball sometimes. But there's nothing I can really point at with the game yesterday where I'm just like, it just infuriates me, like a rotation wise, scheme wise, a way the guys maybe came out. I honestly was happy with how every Spartan played yesterday, probably except for Malik Hall. He was a little off, but besides that, as a whole, I thought the team played extremely well. Duke's guys just made more plays down the stretch, and sometimes that happens. I mean, I think anyone going into that game could bet that Duke's talent would maybe make more plays than Michigan State's talent, and that's what happened.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty measured take. We'll get into more details specifically about the Duke game. We'll talk about takeaways from Michigan State season as a whole, and then we will also look to the future, my friend, because as we said at the beginning of the year, close the book, close the page. It's a new year. It's almost time for another new year. But first, Carter, you know what would probably boost your spirits a little bit?
What?
Saving some money. And today's episode of Unscripted is sponsored by Honey, the easiest way to save money when shopping on your phone or your computer. Have you ever been in this spot, Cart? You're shopping for something online. You get to check out, and when it asks you for a promo code, you start Googling, trying to find a way to save some money. Well, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past, because Honey is the free tool that scours the internet for you and finds the one that best fits your cart. Here's how it works. You're shopping. You check out. The Honey button pops up. You click Apply Coupons. You wait a few seconds. You watch the price you pay go down. Cart, you and I probably could have used Honey this weekend in Philadelphia for a few things.
Definitely. Also, I'm an avid Honey user. I've been using that for like 5 years now. Definitely a fire app. Definitely go get that. It's one of my essential Google Chrome extensions. Whenever I'm buying something, it always comes through clutch. So it's a must download. I'm a avid Honey user.
So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out by getting it. You'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this very show, Unscripted. I'd never recommend something I don't use. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/March Madness. That is joinhoney.com/March Madness. Okay, Cart, it's time to talk Michigan State Duke. I think you summarized the basic points of this very well. We said going into the game that if Duke played well, this was a blowout loss for Michigan State. But here's the thing, Duke played well, and it was not a blowout loss. Do you think that Michigan State just had some higher level of ceiling that we didn't give them credit for all season, that they were able to go toe-to-toe with a team as good as Duke?
I just think that we got bits and pieces of guys playing at high levels all at once. Like, we got great, extraordinary play out of Gabe on the wing. I mean, that first half shooting display was one of the best I've seen all year. We got some things out of Cormac as well on the wing, with a couple of nice pull-ups, a couple of drives, tip into the basket. Actually gave us some things in the second half after having a little bit of an off first half. And Marcus Bingham was engaged and locked in the whole game. We got things from AJ Hoggard, Tyson Walker. I mean, this was a game where we were literally going toe-to-toe with Duke playing at their highest level, like you said. Like, Joey Hauser was going toe-to-toe with Paolo Banchero. Like, Cormac and Gabe were going toe-to-toe with Trevor Keels, and Jeremy Roach was going toe-to-toe with Tyson Walker and AJ Hoggard. I thought, we played extremely well. We were knocking down shots. I even like some of the sets we were running. We seemed to run some more sets as far as not just running pin downs. We ran some other sets to get Gabe some open looks. And Tyson was even aggressive at some point in the second half. And when you play a team as talented as Duke, you just want to be in the game and give yourself a chance. And we had a chance in that game. I think it was like 3 minutes left and we might have been tied or up 2, something like that. And I thought the game was right there for the taking, but credit to Duke's guys. They made a play. And the only thing that made me lose sleep last night is that my team had to go home because out of all the plays that were made, a contested late shot clock, Jeremy Roach 3 sent me packing. Like, even saying it right now, I'm trying to let it go, but that just hurts.
Yeah. I mean, Jeremy Roach was the one guy I think we went position by position, and you did say pregame you weren't very worried about. Also, you were not super worried about Duke as a whole, I feel like, which was maybe a common thing with Michigan State fans heading into this game. Like when the bracket was released, there was a lot of, oh, I'm not that worried about Duke. Like that's the 2 seed I would want. And I don't think I agreed with that. I kind of called some people out for that. Like that Duke team's really, really effing talented. Like they're a top 4 talented team in the country. They have the talent of a 1 seed. And ultimately that kind of showed down the stretch, in my opinion. But also like you've taken some shots at Banchero, said he's just Montrezl Harrell. He was pretty damn good yesterday. You definitely were not high on Roach, and Roach is ultimately the guy who hits the shot. Has your opinion of Duke's talent changed after yesterday?
No, because I don't think Duke's talent has ever been in question at all. I think it's just getting the most out of that talent. And also, as you can see, like as well as State played on the offensive end, Duke is not a good defensive team. Like letting Michigan State put up that many points, I know we were playing extremely well, but they don't really lock in on defense like you think. And it took all of those guys giving like great efforts to win that basketball game. Like I highly doubt if I was putting some money on it, I highly doubt Jeremy Roach plays that well again. Like he's an okay player, but that was a game. That was a Jeremy Roach game. We took Jeremy Roach's best punch and we couldn't survive it. That's what it was. So, I mean, I still think that this Duke team just has holes. And I wasn't necessarily like one of those guys who's like, I want to play Duke. Like, no, thank you. I don't want to. If I can avoid Duke, I would much rather avoid Duke. But like with that said, just schematically in the way their team operates outside of the talent, they don't scare me. Like if you have a guy who can guard Paolo and he can't just overwhelm him, what's he gonna do? Like yesterday he was able to go through Joey Hauser and Malik Hall, but if that was one thing that I could point to that pissed me off about yesterday's game was that every State defender was letting Duke get to their right hand and do straight line drives. Like if you let them just go right, they're gonna score.
I don't think that was nearly as much they let them get there as it's really hard to stop these guys from getting there. Like
I mean, you can shade a guy left. You can,
but like you and I both kind of laughed because the very first thing we heard after the game when we were listening to, we listened to a bunch of different folks quickly analyzing the game, but like some common threads, both from written stuff on Twitter and from Audible stuff was like, well, Joey couldn't guard him. And like that, like we've summarized the season as a whole of a lot of hating on Joey Hauser. Like nobody could guard Paolo Banchero. Like one of the best wing defenders in the country might not be able to guard Paolo Banchero, let alone anybody on Michigan State's roster. Marcus Bingham's objectively a good defender. Mark Williams got whatever he wanted for most of the game. And a lot of that was on Marble, yes, but some of that was also through Marcus Bingham. I think Hogard and Walker have been good defenders on the season. Jeremy Roach gave him 15. Wendell Moore had a quiet game. He had 15 points on 6 attempts. Trevor Keels had 12 points off the bench. Theo John checked in. He barely played. And as soon as he got a post touch, you out loud at Applebee's said, well, we're fine with that. And then he spins baseline and scores. Like this Duke team's good. They got a bunch of killers. All these dudes would start for Michigan State. All these dudes would start for most good teams in the entire country. They just played like
and they're gonna lose next round.
No, they're not. They're not losing to Texas Tech.
Yes, they are.
I disagree. The Texas Tech just barely snuck by Notre Dame on a night where Blake Wesley couldn't hit anything.
Yes.
I think people are a little too high on Texas Tech for my liking.
I think that Texas Tech's even gonna have them in hell. But in any form, I feel like I've been doing a lot of talking about this Michigan State game and what happened yesterday, and I am just absolutely itching to hear your thoughts, Gregory.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to say much of anything negative about this. I thought Michigan State was great in the game. I thought against most teams in the country, Michigan State played good enough to win against most teams in the country in that game against Duke. I think that this is a testament to Tom Izzo's program that guys are going to give their best shots when it matters most. I saw it at the Big Ten tournament. Anyone watching from anywhere could see it at this game last night, but this was not always a given for this team with the downs they had in conference play and just the talent deficits as a whole. You've heard me say it 100 times on the show. They have 0 NBA players on this team. And that's not a shot at Max Christie, who will likely find his way to the NBA someday. It's the truth that there's no one that in the next year is going to be an NBA player. Duke has 6 guys, but you could throw on an NBA court right now and could get rotation minutes. Michigan State has none. And still that didn't matter. Like for them, 1, to jump on them early. They built a little bit of a lead early. 2, to sustain the Duke run. I mean, Duke made their run and opened this up to an 8-10 point game. I thought it was over. And then instead they hit 5 straight threes before the end of the first half. They respond as well again in the second half when things got dicey. Like this team did not go away. Gabe Brown played his heart out. I thought Marcus Bingham had some moments where he looked either gassed or, just didn't come up with a loose ball or didn't defend the rim the way he needed to. But for the most part, he was hitting threes. He was scoring. He had some blocks early. Marcus Bingham played his heart out. I thought Tyson Walker and Max Christie had big moments. I thought everybody on this team, except for Malik Hall, contributed in a huge way to potentially getting a win in that game. And Julius Marble as well. He really struggled. But that's a testament to Tom Izzo. Like a team that has 0 pros came out and went toe-to-toe with one of the 4 most talented teams in the country, gave them everything they had, built a 4-point lead with 4 minutes to go, and then kind of fell apart from there because ultimately I think the issues with this team were a little too much to overcome down the stretch. And the issues with this team are that we don't know who the go-to guy is. You saw that when we went, okay, AJ, it's your turn, blocked. Okay, Joey, it's your turn, blocked. I think there was a turnover in there as well. Max Christie turns it over as soon as he's inserted in the game. At this team's best this year, it was Malik Hall who played that role. Malik Hall has been unable to play that role for the last couple of weeks. I know there's speculation he's got some family stuff going on. I don't know anything about that, so I'm not going to comment anything about it other than if there is anything going wrong, I have thoughts and prayers to Malik Hall. But like they didn't know who to turn to down the stretch of that game. Tom Izzo was still subbing guys in and out in the final 2-3 minutes, losing a little rhythm, weird things. So look, that combined with the fact they have 0 pros and Duke's pros were making plays was enough to blow a late lead. But again, I come away with that as an observer, feeling very impressed with Michigan State, feeling pretty rejuvenated for the future of this program. If they can just figure out some roster issues that are still plaguing them, like go recruit someone who's going to play in the NBA. Go figure out some positions that aren't going to be 50-50 timeshares for minutes. Like we need to balance this roster a little more. And I think they have the potential to do that as soon as next season, but long way to go still.
Yeah. And this Michigan State program, we have the ability to get high level talent. We've got it in the past. Like, it's not like we can't get high level guys. We can't get NBA players. It's something that we have proven to get. So, as much as I am just overall happy with the way the season ended after it being such a roller coaster and like hitting that low point and then kind of hitting the high point, I'm overall happy with the way the season ended, just as far as how the team played. But also there is a lot of fixing that needs to be done. Our staff should be in the transfer portal with notifications on 24/7. We need a center. We have to have a center. If we do not get a portal center, we are screwed going into next year. And that's flat out. Like it's a must have. Like, so whatever you got to do, if we got to hit up Ishbia and tell him to slide a little something, make it happen. but we have to somehow get a portal big next year and maybe even a score wing too, because who knows what's going to happen with Gabe Brown. Even though he had an interesting comment yesterday as far as if he might come back or not, I still don't think he is. I don't think any of them are coming back, to be honest. So we'll see how that goes. But a lot of work to be done. I think we got some pieces. I think AJ Hoggard has showed that he could be the starting point guard for this team. I even think that Tyson has showed another level as far as scoring and being aggressive, where he could be a bench piece or they can play together as well. Jaden Akins shows some things that I think he needs to be inserted to a bigger role next year. So there are some positives going into next year, but we also have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, early indications are that the staff will be very aggressive in the portal. There's reports from Justin Tind, who came out unscripted earlier this season, that they will be very aggressive seeking a center in the portal. There are also reports that they are already reaching out to Jalen Bridges from West Virginia. I don't know if you heard that.
Who I like, by the way.
Yeah, I love Jalen Bridges. He was, I believe John Beilein recruited him at Michigan for a while before he ended up at West Virginia. But yeah, I agree. Those are the two spots you need to fix. I want to hear your wish list going forward. Flip the page, right? If you had 3 wishes that a genie could come make for Carter Elliott, specific to Michigan State basketball for next season, what are they?
I want Cormac to stay in East Lansing all summer. No rolling meadows, no mommy daddy time at all. Lock in.
Leave
Dog mentality. Get the bat. We know what we need to do. We know what's there. We know what he has. We know his ability. We know where he needs to improve. This is a huge summer for Cormac. Year 2, Cormac's going to be a movie. I'm starting the bandwagon. I'm starting the hype train. It's going to happen. A lot of improvements need to be made there. Of course, as I already stated, a portal center. And I think third on my wish list. Well, to add on to the third, if we don't get the second thing, I would beg and plead for Marcus Bingham to come back, but I don't think that's happening. Third, I would say probably wing scoring. A wing. We need a wing. I'm not putting all my eggs in a basket on Pierre Brooks taking a step next year. I think we need a wing.
Interesting. Okay.
I think his role can increase. I think he's going to get better. I think with a full summer, state players have shown that they've been able to, get their bodies in order, improve. I think Pierre Brooks can be one of those players, but I'm not expecting Pierre Brooks to go from getting DNPs to playing like high 27, 25 minutes next year. I just don't see that. I don't even know if he's going to be a guy who's going to be a rotation player, to be honest. I have nothing to go. I have nothing to go off of.
Yeah, I think he's going to get in there, and I think just bench minutes are what you should expect from him, which is fine. He looked okay when he saw the court in limited minutes at times this season. I think you should want him on the court for like 5-10 minutes next year, I think. Okay, interesting. I agree with all those. I have one that I don't know how you'll feel or listeners will feel, but I think there's too many bodies in the backcourt. I've seen a lot of people say, this backcourt is going to be great. It's the strength of the team. I think I agree with that for the most part. What I don't agree with is the timeshare between Hoggard and Walker coming back next season. And I don't understand how that helps Jaden Akins develop at all. I think Jaden Akins has shown only flashes of being a future all-conference player. I think, honestly, he shows flashes of being the best player on this Michigan State team very soon. And I don't want to wait a whole nother year to see him have an opportunity. And right now, he's not going to get point guard minutes next year, not with AJ Hoggard and Tyson Walker both back. Doubt he gets many minutes at the 2 with Max Christie back. And if they do get a transfer portal wing, where does that leave Jaden Akins' card? My answer, which is, again, brutal to hear, you don't need a 5th-year, 4th-year senior from Tyson Walker year. AJ Hoggard is going to be the guy at point guard for the next 2 seasons. Let's give him the keys. He's shown a lot of ability there. Jaden Akins, I don't know if he's a point, if he's the backup point, if he can play both. This kid needs to see the floor. And most of this year down the stretch, that came at the expense of Max Christie. For the best thing for this team going forward, they need to be on the court together. And Max needs to take a step, and Jaden needs to be on the court with him. And I just fear that for next season, there's not going to be any opportunity with that, because Tom Izzo will still be giving his timeshare to Tyson Walker to play 15 minutes a game or 25 minutes a game where he shoots 3 shot attempts and doesn't turn the ball over. I don't see how that benefits the team, even if Tyson plays well for one more season. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, as much as I think that Tyson showed a little something towards the end of the year, like Jaden Akins is the future of Michigan State backcourt. Like, he has to play. And to go on the whole brutally honest thing, like, while we're on the subject, if I'm Jaden Akins and I'm not going to be a guy in year 2 when I've shown things and you're bringing in these other guards and I'm still splitting time or I'm not getting my minutes, some things are going to start to go through my head. I'm going to start to get a little upset because I know there's plenty of other programs that would take me and I could play major minutes. So, I
will personally chauffeur Jaden Akins from East Lansing to Ann Arbor so he can go get 35 minutes at the 2 next year. Personally,
so he can play behind Eli Brooks coming back. So he can play behind Eli Brooks.
Eli's not coming back. Eli's already in his 5th year.
No, he's going to use his COVID year.
He doesn't have a COVID year. He already used that for this year.
Oh shit. Okay, never mind. But
there's 40 minutes available at the 2, Jaden. I know you watch this. I know the Spartan Dogs find unscripted. There's 40 minutes for you in Ann Arbor. You got 15 minutes.
Okay. All right. Relax. No, I'm just saying it's a situation where you need to play your best players. And I would put Jaden in the category of our best players. And you need to find a way to get him minutes. I don't know what that has to be. It's something I would probably think about as a staff. Like, I would even, to be honest, this year, it would have been a situation where I thought they should have cut Cormac's minutes and Jaden should have got a lot of minutes at the 3. Not at the 3, at the 2. I don't know. I just thought we could have worked him in there a lot more this year, but he's shown some things. And just speaking of honestly what I've seen too, I watched him a lot when he played at Farmington High School. Is kind of in my area. I seen him play point guard and I seen him get buckets. Like, he's got a bag. He's got a little something to him. I think that his role changed when he went to Sunrise and was playing next to Kennedy Chandler, but he has the ability to be a guy. So if he has to be that guy for us, I think he has the ability to. And if that comes at the expense of Tyson Walker, then so be it. Like, that's Division I basketball at a high major level. Like, you play your guys that got it, and if the guys don't have it, then it is what it is.
Yeah, I feel like we saw a full year of Tyson, and he was, quite frankly, given every opportunity to be handed the keys to the backcourt for 2 seasons. And I think anyone objectively, even if you want to say, oh, he played pretty well down the stretch of the season, Tyson Walker did not take the keys to the backcourt of this program. And Tyson Walker does not have all conference potential. Tyson Walker is not going to be an NBA player. Tyson Walker's development over the next season, even if he is better, that is not something that is going to significantly benefit Michigan State in any way long term.
Right. Jaden's development greater than Tyson's development, and it should be, and it's not close.
Unless you believe that Tyson Walker can start at point guard and win you a national championship, I don't know why Tyson would play over Jaden Akins next season, in my opinion. And I don't think Tyson can do that. I've been pretty anti-Tyson all year. Still feel sorry saying that. He had some good moments in the Duke game. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, let's get Jaden on the floor before he's almost able to legally drink. Can we do that, please? Thank you.
I would very much love that.
It would be nice. All right. You want to give out any grades to anybody before we wrap this? This is the end of Unscripted, Cart. This is our 1 season finale.
I know. I had a whole vision in my head that the last episode would come on April 3rd, and I had my victory shades. On, be slightly hungover from New Orleans, probably cracking a nice little bottle of champagne to celebrate on Unscripted. But not everybody can win it. It is what it is.
Not everybody can make the second weekend either, Cart.
That's right. That's very true.
Only 16 teams can, actually, if we're being totally real about it.
Isn't that why they call it the Sweet 16?
I think it is. And,
Oh, okay.
I think there's only like 2 programs in the country that have made it 5 consecutive times to the Sweet 16 also. It's interesting.
Oh, okay.
Gonzaga's one of them.
Thanks for that little tidbit, Stat Muse. But anywho, as much as I've been up and down on the team this year, the Big Ten tournament and the game against Davidson and the game against Duke really improved kind of the season for me. As you know, I'm still not satisfied with this, losing in the second weekend. No one wants to do that. Like, you want to go deep into March. I think a Sweet 16 at minimum for a Michigan State team is something that should be the standard. So I'm not going to say it's a good year. It's just an average year. Wouldn't say it's a down year though. I was trending towards down year. I say it's an okay. I think it's an okay year.
All right. Interesting. Okay, 1 to 10 for the okay year. Are you just giving it a 5? You're giving it a C flat?
No. It's like 4.
Okay. Do you okay?
Yeah, because we had a rough patch there where we were damn near about to miss the tournament.
So, but I guess in saying that though, like, if this is just an okay sort of lean disappointment type year, do you think that this team was capable of more? Do you think that this roster was capable of like better than the 7th place finish in the Big Ten? Better than
Yes.
the round of 32
Yes.
exit?
Yes, I did. I really did.
I don't. Why? Like, talk to me on this.
Well, I thought Cormac would be a lot better. I thought Tyson would be a lot better.
But so that's just relative to preseason expectations, right?
Yeah.
Like, if we adjust that mid-season, like.
But but you also have to factor in preseason stuff. Do you not?
I guess, but like, we all thought Max Christie might be Gary Harris, and like a week into that, he was not Gary Harris.
Right. So it was a very average roster, and that we had an average finish.
Yeah, I guess if you stack ranked every Michigan State roster Tom Izzo has ever had, I think this is arguably the worst ever.
Last year was worse.
Last year had Aaron Henry. Like,
yeah, but we also had Rocket Watts, Foster Lawyer, Thomas Kithier. That team was ass.
I mean, the guys that were on the court were ass. I think there was a good team somewhere in there. Which
we also still had Gabe Brown and Marcus Bingham on that team.
Yeah, like, to me, last year's team should have been better than it was, and that's why it was so disappointing. It was like, just play Marcus Bingham, give Gabe Brown more minutes. Aaron Henry's great. Don't play Rocket Watts. Don't play Foster Lawyer. Play AJ Hoggard. Like, all of that was kind of there, but we never saw it. And so that's what made it so disappointing. This year, like, I think the team kind of did what it could. Like, I complain about rotations, but like, I don't know. The team still won 2 games in the Big Ten tournament, which is more than they should have. Made the round of 32, which is more than I predicted them to. Finished 7th in the Big Ten, which is a little lower than I initially predicted. But after you saw how the Big Ten played out, I think they were the 7th best team in the Big Ten. So I'm not overly disappointed. I wouldn't call it a success because this program strides for greater. But I guess that's my point, is like, I don't see this shit changing. I don't think Tom Izzo can just snap his fingers and go back to hanging banners until he gets some dudes in here. And I don't think those dudes are in the next recruiting class. I like Kohler a lot. Holloman, I have no idea where he fits in. Like, I like him too. I don't mean that as disrespect him as a recruit. He's a good take, but like, Holloman's not going to affect anything on a team that has Hoggard, Walker, Akins, Christie next year.
Yeah.
So like,
I agree.
I'm just stuck.
Well, that leads me to my 4th want.
Yes.
I want a staff member under the age of 50. I want a staff member that doesn't have dentures.
That's a good one.
We I would love some youth exuberance into this staff. I would love somebody on the staff who wears tapered pants. Like, just it's very the program needs a little spice, little seasoning. We're a little bland. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Yeah, like
it'd be nice.
You want the staff that doesn't dip their chicken fingers in ketchup. You want them to dip it in barbecue sauce or, ranch, for example, right? That's what we want.
Yeah. I don't want to. I feel like that's taking a shot at you, and I want to get through this podcast without taking shots at you, which you've already taken shots at me, but I'm just letting it deflect.
You can take shots at me. It's fine. I deserve it. When someone as arrogant as me has to watch their team make their 5th consecutive Sweet 16, I deserve some shots at me. It is what it is. It's how basketball works. It's how podcasting works. I personally, if I had a wish list for next season, Car, I'd like to podcast with someone who doesn't wear 2 different colored green articles of clothing.
I'd like to podcast with somebody whose forehead isn't bigger than the rest of their head.
Okay, thank you. That's good. Well, this was a great first season of Unscripted. Should we do predictions? Do you want to do predictions for next year? So of all the things you wish
wait,
for.
Wait. Can I have my sentimental minute?
Can we say that for the end? Because I have one more thing I want to answer for the end.
Okay.
Of all the things you predicted, what do you think actually comes true?
I truly believe that they all come true, to be honest. I think we're going to get a portal center. I think we're going to get a portal wing. I think both those things are 100% going to happen. If they don't happen, our staff's oblivious, and then we really have to hit the red alert alarm button and panic, because anybody who has watched basketball or has any type of hint about Michigan State basketball can see that this team needs a center, and we need maybe some wing scoring, a wing. And all due respect to Michael Peterson, I love what you brought to the program. It seems that everybody loves you. But we got open scholarships, or we have some spots we can fill. So let's get some guys in there. No open scholarships this year. And let's get some guys in here, man. Let's get some talent. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the, getting less out of more, getting less out of little, or getting more out of a little, whatever the goddamn phrase is. But also, maybe let's just go for some guys. Let's get NBA players. Let's get guys that are high level guys. Let's get some all Big Ten players. The fact of the matter is, this year we only had Gabe Brown on there, and he really didn't deserve to be there. That's unacceptable for a Michigan State basketball team.
Had Max Christie too.
The freshman stunk this year.
I mean, he was a 5-star recruit.
The freshmen stunk so much this year that people were really actually hyping up a whole ass Chucky Hepburn.
Yeah, Chucky, apparently the 4th or 5th best freshman in the Big Ten, depending on who you ask, better than Caleb Houston, apparently. They must have, whoever was voting on that must have seen the future and seen Caleb Houston in the round of 32 to be able to vote on that. But okay, I think I agree. I do think they're going to get 2 transfers in the portal. I think, here's my fear. I fear they're going to fill the spots too quickly and miss opportunities to get someone better, which is kind of what I think happened this year
with Tyson.
They signed Tyson before anybody even hit the portal. And then I know, I was talking to DK about this earlier, and he was like, honestly, wasn't Tyson a top 5 point guard anyway when you look back at it? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so.
No, he was.
In the country?
It was between us and Kansas.
No, I know at the time, but I mean, looking back on it now, and also at the time, I still don't think he was. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up the transfer portal.
You have Remy Martin, you got Joseph Yesufu, you got Marcus Carr.
Yeah, so there's a handful right there, right? Remy Martin's averaging 14 in the last 2.5 weeks, and Kansas is really good now. Marcus Carr, was pretty damn good down the stretch for Texas, and Marcus Carr was an all Big Ten first teamer the year before. I don't know anything about those guys as people, so I'm not trying to say Michigan State didn't do what they should have there, but they took Tyson Walker before half those guys even hit the portal. And
it wasn't necessarily us taking him. We beat out other teams for him.
Who?
I'm pretty sure the only reason that Kansas even got Joseph Yesufu or Remy Martin is because we got Tyson first.
All right, let's just go. I'm going to read off names of point guards that hit the transfer portal last year. And you tell me how many you would take over Tyson Walker.
Okay, but you got to look at it going into.
Let's just go. Let me do my exercise. Right. Rocket Watts.
Tyson.
Jelly Walker.
I'd take Jelly Walker.
KD Johnson.
KD Johnson's not a point guard.
Listed as a point guard. KD Johnson.
He's not a point guard.
Listed as a 2-4-7 point guard. I'm going to read everybody listed. KD Johnson.
All right. I'd take KD Johnson.
Remy Martin.
I'd take Tyson.
That's ridiculous. So I'm going to count it as a win for Remy Martin because that's ridiculous. Wendell Green. Wendell Green. Severe Wheeler. Severe Wheeler. Charlie Moore. Charlie Moore. James Akinjo. Now I have to load more players.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. A lot of these point guards that you're naming were already transferred before, like even they were on their teams before Tyson even committed to us.
Davion Harmon, Chris Likes, Michael Flowers, Rasir Bolton. How many more do you need? Zep Jasper. Here's the point. He was not a top 5 transfer at the time or in the postseason.
At the time, he was.
He was not. I didn't even get to Devontae Jones, by the way. Look.
At the time, he was.
The Michigan State brand carries weight. Don't go sign some random mid-major guy before you see everyone who's going to hit the portal. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm begging for. Because the difference between a Tyson Walker and there isn't a good example at the point guard spot because all these point guards were just good, not great. Akinjo and Martin, I think, were probably honestly the 2 best and probably the 2 best going into the portal as well.
Remy Martin just started playing good these last 2 weeks. Before that, he was objectively ass.
I understand that, but you need a center. There will be an Oscar Tshiebwe level guy that hits the portal. Don't sign a mid-major up transfer before you see what those options are. Because if you're Tom Izzo, you can make one phone call and say, we have 30 minutes available at center, and we are the Spartan DAWGs, and we are tough, and we are a program that preaches going to war, and we need you to come be our anchor. And
Kofi to East Lansing.
That's what needs to happen. Like, I'm telling you. So that's my only fear, though. I think they're going to get 2 bodies. I just am very weary of Izzo actually navigating the portal correctly.
Hey, Gregory, I like that little pitch there. On behalf of Unscripted, if this somehow comes across a big man across the country who's elite and unhappy, we got 30 minutes for y'all waiting in East Lansing. And we got a Raising Cane's coming next semester, too, just so y'all know. So
I did mess that up, though. Instead of saying, do you want 30 minutes, I should have said, do you want 2.5 minutes before you get tired? Hit the bench. Because Julius Marble will still be on the team next year. We'll see. Okay. And for the final time this year, Cart, could we end your season with your dog rankings?
Yeah, we can do that. Number 1 might be surprising to some. Joseph Jamal Hauser. My boy, man. For all the shit you get. This is Joey Hauser's minute. For all the shit you get, all the ridicule, like you are much appreciated for what you do for this team. And it would be easy for you to fold. It'd be easy for you to just leave, but you're much appreciated. That first round game against Davidson was absolutely elite. And you know what? Even yesterday, like what you did out there, you're playing Paolo Banchero, you're playing the number 1 pick, and you're Joey Hauser who struggles on defense. You know what? You gave it your best effort. I appreciate it. If someone else could have helped you out, it would have been nice. We had another 4-man who just isn't himself right now. Like we said earlier, prayers if anything's going on with that. But, you did your best. 2, AJ Hogard. He's a gamer, man. Like, he's a gamer.
He's a gamer. 72,
He's a gamer.
72, that layup, the cross, get to the left.
Yeah, like, he's a gamer. And the thing is, like, I'm very excited what AJ Hilgard is going to look like next year, because there's improvement this year from last year. And I would bet that slope continues, and there's some improvement going into next year. Maybe the jumper gets a little more reliable, and that just unlocks a whole new level for him. Like, there is another level to AJ Hilgard's game, but we know he's a guy who's going to play his game. He's going to play hard. He's going to play with that dog. He's the main dog. But he's been a dog all year.
The next level for him comes when he's given the keys.
Yes.
That's all I'll say.
And he has earned the keys. He's earned them.
And it might not happen next year. And we'll probably podcast about it all season long. Who's number 3 in your dog rankings?
Yeah, that's funny. You think they're bringing us back. Number 3 in my dog rankings.
We're like Marcus Bingham. Okay. Like, there's a fan split on whether or not they should bring us back. Deep down, maybe we want to come back. Maybe do we want to come back? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what our mental is, Cart.
Do we want to find our level? Is this our level?
You'll have to wait and find out. You'll see. Okay, who's number 3 on the dog rankings?
Marcus Bingham. Marcus Bingham, when he gets 20 plus minutes, is an absolute dog.
Okay. Yeah, Marcus was a revelation this season on the court. Never thought that guy would be as good as he was this year. I agree with all of those. Well done. Again, no Cormac. Let's just reiterate. So, official stance, Max Christie is not a dog as of today. As of March 21st, 2022, 10:42 p.m. Eastern, Max Christie is not a dog, according to Carter Elliott.
He is not.
Okay. Was his dog status revoked, or has he never been a dog? And he's
never really been. He has yet to show that dog.
Okay. Good to know. Always an enlightening conversation when you take us through the dog rankings. So I appreciate that. Do you want to get sentimental now with the people?
I do. And I want to get sentimental with you a little bit too, Greg. Why not? I had a lot of fun this year doing this. Like, I want to thank the Field of 68 for the opportunity to do this podcast. If you would have asked me and you like a year ago that we would be doing the Michigan State podcast on the Field of 68, I would have spit on you because I hate liars. So, I mean, I had a lot of fun this year. It's been a lot of fun talking about Michigan State hoops. Everyone who has engaged with us, left comments, questions, liked, retweeted, all that, it's much appreciated. And we're going to keep, talking Michigan State basketball. Always going to love Michigan State basketball. Go green, go white until I die. And Greg, I appreciate you for putting up with me, because for y'all who don't know, it is not easy to podcast with Cartel Elliott. It's rewarding, not easy. So appreciate that as well. And hopefully we get renewed for a year dose, and we'll see y'all next year for Unscripted.
I appreciate you too, for the record, big fella. This was a fun year. I feel like I just had a moment that I can't remember. I know you hate moments, but we had some good ones. You got to see your first game ever at the Breslin Center this year.
Yep.
So first Cartel's first trip to the Bres. Got to go behind scenes, practice gym and the press conference, all that. That was fun. Got some rum and cokes at 10 a.m. in East Lansing. That was fun. This game of basketball and this Michigan State program, honestly, has taken us some pretty cool places this year, Cart, and more to come, where we will be in New Orleans next week with the Field of 68, hopefully watching some really good teams play basketball. We'll see what teams get there. There's a few that still could. Don't know who those are. Anyways, Cart, thank you for this. Thank you, BetRivers. Thank you, Honey. Thank you, all listeners. We appreciate you. On behalf of Unscripted, we will see you next season, or someone else will.